Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. So there's no doubt that over the course of the last few days we've had to deal with some pretty dodgy stuff within the gaming industry. When I say dodgy, I just mean AAA games, big games, which should deliver. And I sigh because we shouldn't be having these conversations. We shouldn't be talking about how piss poor Anthem is, how empty it is, how vacuous it is. The same with Fallout 76. We shouldn't have to have these conversations. These are created by companies with big budgets who should know better. Now, the principles that they're working to, the live service principle, now that's what's problematic, not the game. It's these principles that they're just trying to create platforms for monetization and nothing more. They're not putting anything there of any worth for people to do. They're not putting anything in for people to get invested in, interested in. It's just providing a platform to try and sell you digitized crap. So, with that said, I'm very happy to talk about The Division 2. Now, The Division is a game, the first Division game I'm talking about here, was a game that I was really looking forward to. I thought the Snowdrop engine looked stunning. I thought what they were showing off with the engine was excellent. And when they showed off the initial map of how they wanted, I think it was New York, the first one, to be, then it looked really interesting. It looked like there was two segments, nice bridges linking the two. The bridges would be really cool because you'd have the Manhattan River. I don't know your American stuff. And then it turned out to be very generic. The map was completely changed to just literally like a segment, no bridges, no linking, no going over into any other areas. The Dark Zone was a mess. The game was... They did a watchdog on us in as much as they showed off a really nicely rendered version of the game running, and then we got a seriously scaled down version when it came to the actual release of the game. The Division itself was not up to snuff in terms of the way that bosses were technically just bullet sponges. Everything was a bullet sponge, and there were so many glitches and bugs and stuff of this that it really took the fun out of the game. You could do so much fudging to try and get weaponry. And of course, because the game wasn't fun for the most part, this is exactly what people decided to do. The Dark Zone wasn't balanced, so the PvP element got really... Put it this way, it massively let people down, and the launch of the Division went down like a lead balloon, which is sad because I really genuinely didn't take any relish in that. It was a game that I was desperately hoping would be good, and I persisted with it for a good while. I played with my friend Zerg and some other friends of mine, and we had a little clan going. Not an official clan, but you know what I mean. A clan where we would all get together and do events. And I think it got to the first raid, and we just all dropped off. That was it. Now, they could have easily have just let things die, but all credit to the company. They worked really hard to try and fix the Division. It looked like they genuinely had a true vision for the game, and they weren't happy with the way that it had turned out. And so they really listened to player feedback. They really tried to fix the issues with the game. And for all intents and purposes, because I haven't personally experienced this myself, about a year or so ago, rumors started to come out that the game was actually in a pretty good state, and it had actually reached the levels of the looter shooter that it really should have been at launch. However, of course, it was way too late. It's so difficult once you lose a player base to get them back. World of Warcraft would know that. It really is so difficult. Once you show your product, and if it ain't up to snuff, you lose people, and you lose their goodwill, you lose their confidence, you lose their trust. And earning that back is a monumental feat that may or may not even work. We've seen it with Fallout 76, a beloved company putting out a shell of a game, and it's just flopped. Absolutely flopped because there was nothing to do. and obviously all the worst connotations that attach to it. Anthem, again, a game 6 years in development for what? For nothing. There's nothing there to the game. Absolutely nothing. Some very pretty vistas and some half-decent gunplay. And that is essentially it. But in terms of content and things to get people's teeth into, no. And that game's going to die. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. There's nothing on the roadmap to the future coming. And the reason why I tell you this story here is because I really wanted a road of redemption for the Division, because I saw the hard work that they were putting in to try and turn this game around, the legitimate hard work that they were putting in, because they had a really good concept in this sort of biological war post-apocalypse, which, you know, but it's kind of on the verge of an apocalypse without going full-ish, whatever. So I could see, you know, there was interesting stories to be told here. It was an interesting concept with the Division itself, because the Division itself was almost like a sleeper cell, but a sleeper cell for the good guys as opposed to a sleeper cell for the bad guys. And I thought the Snowdrop engine had so much potential, as an engine. And you could just tell that they were on the cusp of something really good here, but they didn't pull it off first time. And so I think, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below, but I think the main reason for the Division 2 is, number one, a fresh start, and number two, they had to get away from some critical problems that the Division 1 had, and to do that, they had to rebuild certain segments of the engine, so therefore it would have been better for the game itself to create this sequel as opposed to try and add to it. I think that's a shrewd move. I think it was the right move to make. Although when it was announced, I did kind of roll my eyes. I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I gave myself a little bit of a slap on the wrist for a bit too much cynicism, because I think it was the right decision for them to make. So I know this is rather a large intro, but I think it was very much, very important that I go into these sort of features so you get an idea of where I am with the Division as a franchise and what I think of the Division itself leading into my Division 2 chat now. So when the open beta happened for the Division 2, I didn't want to participate in a closed. I didn't want to participate in pre-ordering or anything like that. I didn't want to play those games. I didn't want to buy any G Fuel so I could get access to the private betas and stuff like that. No, I wanted to participate when they opened it up for everybody to participate in. And I logged on and I loved it. I loved it. I think this game has a lot of promise. Now, there are two pieces of footage that you're going to see on the screen. The first piece of footage, both pieces of footage are with a friend of mine, but I did two major tests on the Division. I played the first time for a few hours on my own. Just on my own, going around doing stuff. And the second time, what you can see here, is I was playing with just one friend. I was playing with another friend. So I got an idea of what the game would be like to play solo, and I got an idea of what the game would be like to play cooperatively with friends. Now, first and foremost, I want to say that this game looks obscene. And when I say obscene, I mean it is incredible what they've managed to do with the Snowdrop engine. It looks stunning for an apocalyptic, for a Washington that is just in disrepair. It looks absolutely outstanding. Now, I did this test on the PlayStation 4, and I cannot believe the level of detail they got on the PlayStation 4. I could imagine this on the PC for sure, but the level of detail, the amount of clutter that they managed to get, the distinct lack of popping with this as well, just all went into huge plus points, as I felt I seamlessly went through the disheveled streets of Washington from place to place, just absolutely having my breath taken away by the levels of destruction, the birds flying, the pieces of newspaper just blowing in the wind, all these small details which make up such a great atmosphere and immersion with a game. And I've really got to tip my hat to a game that just looks absolutely outstanding. I thought it was fantastic that your first base of operation was actually the White House. And it feels corny, but at the same time, it works perfectly. And to sort of walk around a mock version of the White House felt ridiculously satisfying. Seeing how the rooms link together. If this is a faithful reconstruction of the White House, wow. Then I'm actually quite taken aback by how cool it is. And so from an aesthetic point, just from a visual point, the Snowdrop engine to me seems to be doing exactly what I hoped it would have done for the first division. But hey, look, I'll take it right for now. Important aspects of the game, of course, come with gameplay itself and the actual content of it. So first and foremost, your character, again, looks stunning, moves stunning, animations are exceptional, and I thought the gunplay was really, really tight. They've managed to, and I don't know if they did this obviously in the previous patch leading into the Division 2, but they've managed to very successfully do away with the bullet sponge element of the game, while at the same time making the enemies and the mobs still a massive threat. You'll probably see that I die quite a few times because we do some running and gunning and we do some sticking around when we probably should be doing some moving, etc. And so enemies feel threatening, they feel tough, they feel like they're challenging, but at the same time you feel as if you can outthink them, outsmart them, and I thought their levels of AI were pretty damn good. On top of that, the skills that you get, as well as your weaponry, really can turn the tide of a battle as well. I ran with 2 different skills. I ran with a turret, and I also ran with a drone, which would do some attacking as well. These very nicely fit onto your action bar, your pad, whichever one you're doing on the game itself. And thinking about the most opportune moment to get these out really did proved to be exceptionally good fun, especially when you started to get a little bit overrun by enemies. Suddenly, you pop out the turret, you pop out the drone, and they are just eating stuff up, allowing you to focus on the targets that you want to focus on while minimizing the amount of damage that you take. Replenishing shields and things like that are a lot easier now with armor packs, and so you can take cover, hold down the right D-pad, get those shields back up, get that armor back up with your repair kits, and get back into the battle itself. So combat felt really satisfying. Although the sucking up against the cover system can be a little bit annoying at times. It works, you know, 90% of the time. Some of the time you're sucking it up against things you don't really want to suck up against. And if you adopt a run and gun approach, if you're in numbers with multiple people helping you, then it can be very satisfying. But at the same time, you do have to take advantage of those cover points. You do have to take advantage of when to throw those grenades and get those skills out. So combat was really, really satisfying. In terms of actual content, this is a game that, unlike Fallout 76, this is a game that bona fide benefits from walking the streets. From you just going out there and walking the streets if you are choosing not to do the main storyline. Trying to find trouble, trying to find people to help, trying to find organic events which are happening around the map. There are civilian groups which are going walking around, trying to find food, trying to patrol the area, and you can often find yourself getting involved in gunplay to protect them, protect hostages, as well as find little snippets that you can get into buildings and go around buildings, clearing out enemies, finding nice little caches of weaponry and stuff like that. The game does seem to hold some very nice discovery points and holds elements that really encourages you to go out and explore this incredible Washington, D.C. I never managed to get involved in any of the Dark Zone play, so I don't know about the PvP element, but I was really pleased with how the story was turning out. I really enjoyed the characters that it currently throwed at us, in as much as you come across a black woman to start with, and she's got scars all over herself. She's clearly been in, in an IED attack or a grenade attack or some explosion. I think she's lost her leg, so she actually has an artificial leg. And instead of pandering to people and making her just a kick-ass, oh yeah, let's go and do da-da-da, she was a strong, but at the same time understood that she couldn't go out there. She couldn't go out there. She would keep people back. She would hold them down because of the loss of a leg, because of clearly the stress that her body had been through. And you could see the frustration, the legitimate frustration in her face. She'd had a child kidnapped at the same time, and so she had to put it in your hands, in the hands of another Division NPC to get her child back. And that really came across as genuine. It came across that she was strong yet flawed in as much as she knew her limitations. And I really enjoyed the fact that they just didn't go for that pandering element. They just didn't go for that, which I think, too many games are doing nowadays. Everyone's got its... So that really kind of like set you up as a bit of a badass character. And it also set up the other NPC member of the Division to be a badass character as you go into this building, clear out this building, get on top, fight a boss, and attempt, because I'm not giving any spoilers away, attempt to save this person's daughter. So the elements of the story which I came across as believable, even if the dialogue, let's just say, has a little bit to be desired. I wasn't massively bothered about that because I could see what they were doing in terms of story, and the story itself was immersive enough for me to get involved and thoroughly enjoy it. Now, obviously, this is a Ubisoft title, and I am very concerned that they are going to microtransaction the wazoo out of this, which is going to be rather sad. It already does have a season pass attached to it. There's obviously multiple different versions which you can purchase for release on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, 12th, I believe, of March. And so that is a concern for the future, bearing in mind, of course, that Division, the first Division game, promised there would be no loot boxes, and they broke their promise. So things like that are rather sad. There are pictures which have emerged of people discovering hyena chests that require a key to open them in the game, Hyena being one of the enemy factions in Washington. And there is a concern that you will only be able to purchase these keys through a microtransaction system. So unless somebody has found a Hyena key in the actual PvE element of the game, please do let me know in the comments section down below. I'd be very interested to hear about that. So, yeah, there are concerns, but the concerns come in with Ubisoft and how they are going to try and monetize the game. The actual concerns as regards to the game itself, I don't have any. I'm going to buy this game. I'm going to buy this game. There's no doubt. I'm going to buy this game. A friend of mine is going to buy this game. I think my mate Zerg is going to buy this game. PS4 Zerg, please. That's where we're going to get a clan together. And then my friend's friend, they're going to get the game as well. So there's probably going to be at least 4 of us rocking around Washington doing all kinds of shenanigans. This is, to me, a redemption story. So far, I mean, we've only seen a small snippet of what the game is going to be. But this does appear to be a potential game which is rising from the ashes. A game which should have delivered first time and failed, getting a second bite of the cherry, getting that redemption, and delivering what it should have done first time round. But I was so encouraged by what I played. Yeah, it's just more Division. You know, it plays very similarly to the first Division. I can't say that it's anything really particularly different, but what I can say is it's tight, it's fun, it's explosive. I wanted more, and that is a very, very important element. It did everything that Anthem hasn't done for me. It's made me hungry to get back into it. It's made me hungry to get that gear, to level up, because gear seemed to drop with such frequency and regularity. You always felt as if you were swapping armory out. You always felt as if you were swapping weaponry out. And there were some really nice little weapons which I came across, from SMGs to single-shot rifles, which do explosive damage, to devastating shotguns at close range, and assault rifles and stuff like that, as well as, of course, the the RPG elements with all the skill trees that you can unlock and the different perks and the evolution of your skills as well, which you can take down multiple different routes. Drones which have bombs, drones which have snipers, etc, etc, etc. So it has me ready for Tuesday. It has me wanting for Tuesday as well, and well done. Well done. It was I didn't come across any bugs. I didn't come across any problems. I didn't come across any loading screen issues. This seems to be tight. This seems to be tight like tiger. And good luck. Legitimately good luck. And yeah, you're going to get my money. Well done. You're going to get my cash. So there you go. There are my thoughts and feelings about the Division 2 beta. If you're concerned, I would say give them the chance. I think this is a game which probably does deserve a chance. So I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links there in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.